this is what really is startling, is that in 1908, the Royal Library of Baroda, which is in central India, they were going through a bunch of the old manuscripts in there, and some of them were 2,000 years old, and they found a book, and that book is called the Vaimanika Shastra, and it was written by a guy named Maharishi Bharadwaja, and he wrote this 2,000 years ago, and he said right in his book that he was compiling this from earlier books that were many, many thousands of years older than this, and that this book, the Vaimanika Shastra, was an entire book, George, that was all about Vimanas.
Wow.
So here was a book that wasn't just passingly mentioning these aerial ships of ancient India, but was just all about it in great detail. And in fact, it says that there were 4 types of Vimana, the Rukma Vimana, the Tripura Vimana, the Shakuna Vimana, and there was the Sandara Vimana was the 4th one. Some of these Vimanas, as they were described, had wings and were apparently like an airplane. Others were long cigar-shaped Zeppelin-type craft. Another type was apparently kind of like a helicopter. And the 4th type of Vimana was a discoid flying saucer-type craft. And all 4 are described in detail. They talk about metals. They even talk about electricity. One of the things that is talked about in the Vaimanika Shastra about these ancient craft is that they use mercury, which is a strange thing. And this is what Bill Clendenin, in the beginning of my book, Atlantis and the Power System of the Gods, was deciphering. And I have to really give him credit for this, where he was fascinated, like myself, in the whole thing of Vimanas, the Vaimanika Shastra. I mean, could we make sense out of what they were saying in this ancient book? And many people, this book is famous, and it's discussed not just in my books, but in all kinds of books about, UFOs and mysteries of the past, because this thing is, it's baffling. What Bill came up with was that Mercury is really an amazing element. Mercury it's a metal, it's a conductor, it is an element. There's things you can do with Mercury that you just can't do with other metals and elements. And one of the things you can do is make what Bill called Mercury plasma gyros.
These are the Sudeten Mountains on the Polish-Czech border. During World War II, this beautiful valley was home to some of the finest scientific minds of the Third Reich. It was here that the Nazis built one of their underground research facilities, the Wenceslas Mine. A vast underground complex hidden away from Allied bombs, which Nazi slave labor carved out of the Sudeten Mountains.
Example of a surface infrastructure being kind of a reflection of the underground facility, which was...
It was here, in the desperate last months of the war, that German scientists worked around the clock to produce Kriegsscheiden, the war-winning technology that might produce a stunning knockout blow, even as the Nazis were being pushed back towards Germany.
We're now deep into the mountain.
Not hundreds of meters, but several kilometers, in fact.
This is several kilometers into the mountain. Yes. And this would have been a highly secure, impenetrable assembly site.
Exactly, and the secrecy around this place was very exceptional, so that the Allies never found out about it.
But the Allies did capture one man who knew all about this place, and he wasn't a token find. His name was SS General Jakob Sporenberg, and he was in charge of the technical program at the mine. What he revealed astonished his interrogators. Indeed, I find it astonishing 60 years later. He spoke of a secret experiment attempting nothing less than to conquer gravity. He described a bell-shaped device that needed enormous amounts of electrical power. It was made of a hard, heavy metal and filled with a mercury-like substance, that was violet in colour and glowed when under test. People who worked on the bell suffered from sleep problems and severe vertigo. 5 of the 7 scientists died while working on the project. In a memo to Hitler, the scientists wrote, "It is in our opinion that the scientific results ascertained from our experiments with the bell are truly decisive for the war." Experiments with the bell happened deep underground in the mine, but directly above it, on the surface, was this strange structure. Called the flytrap, it first showed up on an Allied aerial reconnaissance photo in 1944. Igor Witkowski believes that the flytrap was a test rig for advanced propulsion technology. In other words, flying saucers.
There is an extremely strong and thick steel reinforcement of the pillars, which means that it was to withstand some great forces working on it.
How did it work? We don't know exactly, but we do know from Sporenberg's evidence that the bell was a revolutionary device, and the flytrap, designed as its test rig, was fed with underground cables running to the heart of the structure. Is it possible that the UFO sightings over Nazi Germany were related to this quest?
There is a sense here that the Germans were engaged in very highly classified work, and that possibly they were engaged in anti-gravity type programs.
What I do know is that many of these bizarre projects like the Bell did not remain in German hands. At the end of the war, they were plundered secretly by the American High Command and taken to the States.
There are rumors that the Aurora project is responsible for many UFO sightings in the vicinity of Area 51. Ball-shaped craft and strange hovering lights. There are those who believe that Aurora has produced a revolutionary breakthrough in advanced technology. Edgar Fouché thinks he knows what it is.
To me, the most fascinating vehicle from the Aurora program has been the TR-3B. It's a triangular-shaped vehicle. It uses a circular accelerator, as you imagine a circle within a triangle, that rotates a Mercury-based plasma at 60,000 revolutions per minute, pressurized at 250,000 atmospheres, and supercooled to 150 degrees Kelvin. I absolutely believe that all the triangular-shaped vehicles that have been spotted belong to the U.S. government. The only thing that could outmaneuver a TR-3B would be the things we copied it from, which would be alien vehicles.
There is no evidence that his TR-3B aircraft exists. Except that in recent years, unidentified triangular craft with a pulsating light in the center have been seen in various locations around the world.
You have my word, whatever it's worth, that I trust my friends. I believe what I've seen, what they've seen and told me. And I believe this technology exists. I'm absolutely convinced